Hello, everyone. It is absolutely wonderful to be here tonight. Thank you very much, Simone, for that introduction, and I'm truly honored to be recognized by GlobalMindED and to be here with all of my fellow honorees and all of you this evening, including every student in this room. This recognition means a lot to me, and receiving this recognition really made me reflect on my leadership style and what has shaped me. You know, when I was a young professional, there was a lot I didn't know, and there is still a lot I don't know. And what I find really interesting as I reflect upon my career is that I've done so many things that I didn't know how to do. You know, we talked about, Simone talked about, our journey toward 100% renewable energy throughout the United States at General Motors. We set that goal 10 years ago, thinking that it was going to take us over 30 years to get there, right? We had a general idea of how to move forward, but we didn't really know how to do it. And so we were able, though, to convince a lot of really smart and really important people at General Motors, number one, that it was worth it, and number two, that we could do it. And then we got into a room after we made a, press, a public announcement to the press, and we said, okay, now, and I said to the team, I said, okay, now really, like, what are we about to go do? Right? And I say that to all of you, and particularly to the students, because for many of you right now, you've decided a major, right? You're working on it. You've got support from organizations like GlobalMindED and from family and friends. Maybe you need more support. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to do what you've said you're going to do. What I will tell you is that you will figure it out as long as you keep going. And as long as you recognize that you don't need to do it alone, that you can't do it alone, and that there are a lot of people that are going to have to come together to create the future that you might be dreaming of right now, right? So it's always a journey. It's never easy, and that is actually the most exciting part, is the figuring it out, the not giving up, figuring out what people are we missing in this conversation. The way I've learned to lead is by putting people first and putting people at the center. And when you're talking about doing things that are going to improve all of our futures and control climate change and reducing energy usage, reducing water usage around the world, when you're talking about doing things like that, there are a lot of people that don't agree or that are so overwhelmed by the thought of it all that they don't necessarily want to be held accountable for actually making a change. But all of that can be resolved by putting together ideas that people can believe in, right? Okay, you don't believe in that, what do you believe in? Right? When you're working on your class, your work for your classes, and you're like, what? Like, this makes no sense. Why are we even learning this? Why are we even doing this right now? You find that why. You find that why for yourself, you find that why for your classmates, and that can be your motivation to keep going. And so what we do as professionals working on really big things like controlling climate change and creating a more sustainable future is we involve people. Because it doesn't matter how great your technical solution is, it doesn't matter how great the paper you wrote is. If the people that you're talking to can't believe in where you're going, or if you yourself can't believe in where you're going, you're really not going to get anywhere. Okay? So we learn to communicate what we're doing. We find a basis on which we can agree to move forward, and then we move forward with the people that we need to support the goal. When we do that, magic happens. And what's really cool, particularly when you're working in areas that touch on sustainability, is that the magic will stick. What we want is stickiness. We don't want things that are temporary. We don't want things that won't last forever. And so when you get people engaged, that believe in what's going on, and they find their way to contribute, no matter where they live, no matter what they're doing, no matter what community they're from, then things tend to stick. So that's what I hope to continue to do. And as we all approach together America's 250th anniversary, my hope is simple, and it's that we continue expanding access to education, which helps us solve these problems, that we create meaningful work for people regardless of how this world changes, and that every person has a chance to contribute to our collective progress. So thank you for the honor, and I'm proud to stand with all of you in opening doors for generations to come.